What's going on? Welcome back, everybody. We're at the Fan Awakens, episode 10. There's one way out. I'm here with my guy, Parade. How you doing, Parade?
On program. I'm doing great, man. I'm really happy to be here to review episode 10, One Way Out. And we got 2 episodes after that. And then that's the end of Andor season 1. So we're up,
Oh,
we're getting there, man. We're hitting the climax right now. And this episode did not, it definitely delivered.
I feel like I'm going to have withdrawals when Andor's over. Like, it's going to come
Yeah.
to Tuesday at midnight, and I'm going to be sitting waiting, and it's not going to be
There's gonna
there.
be nothing. There's
I'm,
gonna be nothing.
I'm be like Poe talking about the Battle of Crate. It's like, we called for help. No one came. It's just going to be so sad. I need help coping with that. So,
Yeah, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be rough.
but as you said, this episode it delivered. It delivered. This episode
Definitely delivered.
was as billed for me and more. It's just they find ways to break your heart, and we definitely had heartbreak.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's the culmination of the last two. What's interesting is just to get into it a little bit, it didn't feel as dire or as painful as
Yeah,
the
I
previous
agree.
two, but it still had some pretty
It's like
like sad
bittersweet.
moments. But it was an up. It was like,
It
the
was.
rise. So
Yeah. It was a rise. It wasn't just depressing. Like it was
right.
like a I still had a smile on my face, but then I was like, it's like when you're smiling and one tear's just rolling down your face,
Sure,
you
sure,
know?
sure, sure.
I know, first off, we gotta roll with the fit check. I will
Good
say,
check.
I want to apologize to anybody who sees my Tales of the Jedi review with my friend Sylvia. Um, didn't do the fit check, and I regret it. I didn't think about it. I forgot. Uh, so yeah, what do
What
we
are you
got going
rocking
on?
today?
Me, I got my little I got a little Star Wars like light
Hey,
jacket thing,
yeah.
and then I got because it's cold, it's like a Darth Vader holiday sweater.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Very cool. Where'd you get the jacket from?
um, it's an excellent question. I got it for Christmas one year. I don't know where they got
Okay.
it from.
Okay. I'm rocking another Shirt Punch special. It's the Vader geometric.
Hey, oh, that's
So
nice.
yeah,
That's real
yeah, they
nice.
make some good stuff there at Shirt
Adds some
Punch.
color.
Sponsor us.
Also, I like, yeah, sponsor us. Come on, Shirt Punch. What are you doing? Send
I
me
know, maybe we
something.
should reach out or just send them a quick message
Yeah,
on
we should.
Instagram.
I do like. I think that's really cool. It has the Tie Fighters just like trailing in.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah, I love the colors and they really pop.
That's
Um,
a nice shirt.
yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
Uh,
It served me well. Get a lot of compliments on my Shirt Punch ones. I'm walking around, people are like, "Oh, that's a nice shirt." I'm like, "Hey, thank you."
hey, thank you, Shirt
I would
Punch.
get, yeah.
Yeah,
use code fan awakens.
code code parade at.
Yeah, code red.
Um, but we got a lot to talk about. We obviously spend a good chunk of this episode with Cassian and
Hmm.
and his fellow inmates in Kino 5, and we pretty much jump in right where we left off with
Right.
Cassian and Kino
Hmm.
sort of having this intense back and forth in that while they're waiting to be rejoin their fellow inmates. uh
Yeah, we see Yuli get zipped up into the body bag and
oh,
pushed out, and in front of. I thought initially when I watched it, I thought it was in front of the their day shift crew, but it was the night shift crew.
yeah, yeah, I
They
didn't
get pushed
realize that
through.
at first either.
Yeah, yeah. So they get pushed through there, and then Cassian and Kino go back to their sleeping quarters with all the other guys, and they're like, "Well, what's going on? Where is he at?" Like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Oh
Didn't make
my
it, guys.
gosh. Also, one quick thing. Oh, it just I'm like, Cassian, get off the floor.
Oh,
All
right.
the all the
They're
time.
just
This last second, every time, you're just standing around. I'm like, bro, you're
yeah,
like
yeah,
30 shifts in. What are you doing? It's just for dramatic effect. Like,
yeah.
Cassian.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
watched it twice, and I'm just like, "Come on, get off the floor, hurry!" But he knows what he's doing. He knows
yeah.
what he's doing.
Yeah, he's trying. I'm fine.
Um, but yeah, them all like questioning, and I love how Kino is the voice of the floor.
Yeah.
When we first meet him, you're like, "Is this guy gonna be like a super jerk?" We had our questions about, is he gonna be more about the Imperial thing or more about the prisoner thing. And I'm glad that he wasn't the Imperial thing. Like I'm glad he
Yeah.
was for his guys. You know, Olaf he called Uli, so it's like he had like a relationship, you know, with him in a way, and he cares about his 49 guys. So I was glad in the conversation about like, you know, we got to leave tomorrow. He's like, tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about tomorrow? Like, we're not getting out of here. And Kazin's like, there's like new guy gonna replace the old guy.
Yep.
This is gonna be our chance. So we got it. He's like, otherwise we're never gonna have another chance at it.
Yeah, it's in that plan, it was pretty simple and it worked out. But when he was, giving that speech, I love that when they're in their little barracks and Cassian's,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, tell them,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Andy Serkis just further just pushes it. Man, that guy is so talented. He's so great.
yeah,
Um, and I love that in this show they allow their people to act. They'll keep the camera
sure.
on him. They'll keep the camera on him. They'll let him go. And he really went. I like
Yeah,
that when Cassian was trying to convince him, it's like, no, we're going tomorrow. Tomorrow's our best chance. And he's like, who, you? Oh my
he
gosh.
made like 3 or 4
Yeah,
other guys.
it's just like,
It's like,
it's
who
like,
you
no,
for? Like, you idiots are
you.
gonna get out of here? Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Uh, but then, I think that, Cassian is showing that he's showing some nice leadership qualities. He knows that Kino
Mhm.
has, and I love that we get to it later, but he keeps going to that point of, really trying to make sure that it's Kino expressing this message, because from him it's
Right,
not going to carry as much weight. It,
right,
it carries a
right.
lot more from their floor and on others.
Yeah,
But, as we get into it, they have the little moment. Everybody finds out we're not getting out of here. We're just getting moved around, transferred to another prison.
right,
Uh,
right.
and it seems like at that point, I mean, I love when Kino's like, "There's, we're done counting shifts. There's only then and now." And
Yeah.
it seems like he had that one way out thing kind of from the beginning.
Hmm.
Um, and it was a nice. I mean, it was. I already want to put that on like the wall or something. I don't even know why. I just want like a Kino Loy tribute.
Yeah. I love that he was like, he goes, I don't care what you guys do, but I'm gonna assume I'm already dead. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh no, foreshadowing.
I
Like we're
know.
gonna we're gonna lose them. We're gonna lose them. And we already knew it. We've been predicting it, but how? And I can't wait till we get to that part. Do you think they had to have been talking amongst themselves during the sleep time, right? Because
Yeah.
he's like, because everyone would have to be on the same page by the time they got into the room.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I think for sure. Yeah, I
but
think.
I was surprised. So when they get into the room, they all, gear up when the guy
Yeah.
comes down. But I was surprised the plan to break the pipe and let the water out. I was surprised that worked. I mean, like if it didn't work, I'm wondering what plan B was gonna be
Eh, that um well,
because it shorted the floor,
I
right?
guess at that point it's all down to Cassian, because he was holding on to the pole. I guess
Yeah,
that's live and die by him. He is a sharpshooter. I will say
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Also,
Taking out the
Homeboy,
guards.
I didn't expect it, but dang, his homie who was kind of helping him from the beginning, his friend he was planning with every time he'd walk by, he got
Yeah,
offed real quick.
I
Uh,
think his name was like Bartok or something like that.
Let's go with Bartok.
Yeah,
He got
something like
offed
that.
very quick, and I was like, "Oh no!" And
I
when
was
they
like,
offed him
oh.
that quick, I was like, "Oh dear." I was a little nervous for everybody else for a
Yeah, I
second.
was like, "Oh,
Um,
no." And then we lost the redheaded dude
we
too.
did. Yep, he
His
got.
name was like Zal or something.
Um, but yeah,
But
the
yeah, but
plan, it was surprised. I didn't know. I thought that what Cassian was doing had something to do with the lift, to be honest, or some sort of power thing. Or I didn't realize
yeah,
that he was just trying to bust the water open
the
and
pipe open, yeah.
short out the floor.
Yeah. I was like, "Is that?" I was like, "How do you know that would work?" But I mean, it did. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
just
taking
for
a chance.
plot wise. Oh, wait, we missed what our rankings were gonna be.
We did. All right. So on this
Go ahead.
episode, I
I wanna
mean,
hear what you say.
all right. So this episode, it floored me. It was is I mean, it was tragic, but it was beautiful within that. Um, Uplifting. I think it was something. Again, they keep giving me these moments in Star Wars that I yearn for, and I love. So I'm gonna give this episode.
I mean, you don't have to like. It's not. We're not gonna be bullish on it. We like if you need to change it or adjust.
Oh no, I think I'm. Gosh,
Are you gonna give it a? You can give it a 10.
give me my 10. Okay, I'm giving it two of these. I'm giving it two of these.
Nice,
I'm giving it my
nice,
10. I love this
nice.
episode. I watched it again. I was very tired when I watched it again, and I
Mhm.
should have fell asleep, but I did watch the whole thing because I was so excited to watch it again. I loved it all the way through. And will I find something nitpick? Probably, but I'm gonna give it my 10 because I think it's as close to a perfect episode of TV for me in this universe, in this episode. I loved it.
Sure,
Give it my 10.
man. Gosh, this is really tough for me. This is really tough for me, and I think it's just so hard to rank, given we have 2 more episodes, and I know I gotta be honest. I gotta be completely honest.
Do
This
it.
is what did I say last week? Was it a 9.5
Mm,
for me last
I
week? I think it was a 9.5 for me last
yes.
week. I gotta be completely honest. I think I'm gonna give this episode a 9. It's a
Fair.
great episode. I love, and we're gonna talk about it. Luthen's monologue,
Yeah.
probably some of the best Star Wars we've gotten.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think though, because of it's so focused in on the jailbreak,
Yeah.
we're not getting a lot of different scenes to build out the story. This is just the third act of a 3-act,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, prison thing. Together, I think together as a full arc,
Arc.
I love 9.5 for sure.
Take
But
it.
for me, it's a 9, a strong 9. I think just a little bit more other stuff. And again, again, it's it's all about the jailbreak.
Yeah.
Um, but like I wasn't as pulled into Kino Loy's monologue. It was good, but it just felt a little. I felt like it was just a little bit too on the nose for me.
Okay. Okay. I see
Like
that.
it was not. It felt a little. I wanted like teeter into saying cliche, kind of like you know too rousing for me. Like even watching it for the first time, I'm like, okay, he's doing a speech, and I'm like, okay, he's all right, like I get it, and like
Nah, I
it just
get
felt
you.
like it felt a little too ham-fisted for me.
Feel
But I
you.
know it'll hit a little bit better for most. But for me, I'm like, just everybody jump out the top, get out of here. Like that's what, that's what I would have said. Like because like at the end of the day, in my opinion, everyone who swam to shore is split off. It wasn't we're all gonna make it together and then we are all gonna form a rebellion. Everyone's just on their own. So to me, rallying the troops was just to get to the top, and there was no issue there. And it was a cool scene. It was definitely a cool scene, but I think it was just a little bit too cheesy for me. A little bit
Jeez,
too cheesy.
oh man, I loved it. I was on.
Yeah,
I
no,
was just
I'm
like the
not dissing
music.
anyone
I thought
who
was
does.
great. Also, I didn't take it that way at all. You still gave it 9, and 9 is a very high score.
Yeah, no, it's very high. Yeah, yeah,
For me, I love that stuff. I love that stuff. This show has been pretty dark and pretty like sad and things like which I
yeah.
love. I love it, but also equally I love those moments, especially I will say especially in this franchise where things can be a little bit I don't know if I'd say cheesy, but a little bit I love that uplifting spirit. The music got me
Sure,
going. Everybody's running through the
sure.
halls. He's like, and it's like if someone falls, essentially pick them up. Make sure you
Right.
get out together. I love that from
Well, they
Kino.
showed people falling that
Yeah,
one picked them up.
that is. Hey, look, what my headcanon here is they cut before someone picked him up. Okay, someone got him. Someone
Well, he
got
said
him.
if you were lost or confused, help
Yeah,
him out.
help him
But he
out.
didn't say about pick anybody up off the
Hey,
floor.
someone picked him up. I'm telling you, someone picked him up. they
Um,
they picked each other up. It was a beautiful moment. It was off screen.
and yeah, and let me just reemphasize. I think as a 3-episode arc, it's nearly perfect. Nearly
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Just as a standalone episode, to me, it's a 9.
which
It's
is
a 9
great.
for
I
what I want out of my Star Wars.
To be fair, also I do think that I prefer. I do think that last episodes was maybe better than this episode's,
Right.
but uh I love a good finale. And
Sure, yeah.
the same thing for me with episode 5 and episode 6 of Empire
The
Strikes
movie
Back and Return of the Jedi.
that I yeah.
I definitely think that Empire Strikes Back is a superior movie, but
Mhm.
I rank episode 6 higher than it, I think, by a hair. Uh
Yeah, me
so that's I think that's my rationale for this.
too.
You know.
Sure.
But with the Prison Break one, great music. I thought it was a nice
Oh, right, yeah.
uplifting piece that I'll definitely add to my playlist.
Mm,
Beyond that, it's just really, really great visuals. I think they keep doing that to us. They keep hitting us with these like visuals that I love to have framed on the wall. When they show the above shot of the prison, and then show everybody swimming. Of course,
everybody
I've
coming
seen it
out.
everywhere, but real
Beautiful
good.
shot.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah.
As we're going through the prison, it's typical. They got out. They got guns. First off, that one guy who was like freaking out. I'm like, don't give this guy a gun. Like, give him a
He's like,
stun
"I'm dead,
stick.
I'm dead."
We don't need this
He's all,
guy
like,
having a
shaking at
gun.
the machines. Well, even though, like, it was crazy, like, Kino was standing in the middle of the floor on the
Yeah.
little kill box, and I'm guessing to bait them into sparking the floor, thus, with the water short circuiting everything out, but he's risking his life right there, right? Because he
Yep,
tells everyone to get on the tables.
he does.
So you have to have at least one person to make it worth to spark, but, um, I thought that was interesting. The moment of realization that he's not dead, and then he's like, "Attack!" And then they keep throwing their
Yeah,
their stuff,
I love that
but
stuff. Yeah. Someone did get sparked to die too. At least one
Mhm.
person.
Yeah, someone didn't
Yeah.
make it to the tables quick enough.
Yeah.
But,
Um.
that and then, just watching people go down, getting shot, and I was just like I was like, "Man, these guards suck, man." I would just be spraying just just
Like
eviscerating
I
these
would have sparked
prisoners.
that floor a long time ago. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, the guards definitely suck. I think that I don't think this is a very coveted position.
No, probably not.
This is like the I don't know, your uncle got you in kind of job, or you scraped by and they're like, yeah, throw him to Narkina
Or you
5.
did something wrong, send them to the
Yep,
wall, kinda
exactly.
thing, send them to
Um
Narkina 5.
Cassian, oh man, he has the shot down pat. Kick the guy's leg, boom,
Mhm.
shot the other dude
Punch
in
him
the
in the
leg.
face.
Yeah, punch him in the face. Short jab, but did enough.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, once he was up there, it was go time. Also, they're throwing a lot of
Right.
pieces of metal, and
Yeah.
some of them had some all-star arms. I didn't see anyone go
Mhm.
down from metal though.
No. I was waiting for it. I
Me
was waiting
too.
for someone to
Waiting
go
for that
down. It would
big
make more
dink.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking like one of those rings you could use like brass knuckles. I thought we were gonna see like someone get punched out with one of those
Yeah.
little metal pieces, but none of that. Still Disney Plus. But I
Mm,
love how when they're like traveling through the halls and just the shootouts that they had in the
yeah.
halls were really cool and really engaging. Even like it circling around and
They
one
sort
I
of
think it
meet
was
back up.
yeah, well, they meet back up and we're taking out guards and stuff. And even just the fact that because we thought they were going to take boots, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't. And then one of the things I saw in a YouTube video that was pointed out was the boots were making too much noise going through
I
the halls.
see.
So when they would like turn the corner, they were
You'd
already
hear
ready
'em.
to shoot them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty
Yeah, I mean, it was nice, they're going floor to floor. I did laugh sometimes, maybe they did lower the platform, but they like open the doors like, we're getting out, climb however you can. I'm like,
cool.
what's there to climb on, man? We're gonna be climbing the
Yeah, yeah,
hoses or something, and I
right.
was just like,
Well, at least
climbing
I
on
was
each
wondering
other.
if they would like wait till it goes halfway and then like
Yeah, stop it.
stop it.
Like, trust us.
They're
It's
just like
foolproof.
feet to shoulders and
Um Now at this point though, obviously we'll see if they end up surviving. I don't know if there's gonna be anything there, but there's a room full of some guards still hiding out. I don't
right.
know if they have like cameras here. I don't know if it's gonna be like, yep, that was Cassian again. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna
think yeah, I mean, if we're talking about that, I'm like, is Kino still alive? Is Kino gonna get
oh
interrogated for
god.
the prison break? Because it was his voice. He
Yeah.
mentioned himself, and then I'm like, is Kino gonna meet Dr. Gerst here?
Oh man, oh man, I would love to
And
see the acting in that scene, but I want to see my boy Kino get
I know.
Dr. Gerst.
Yeah, because they're
Oh,
not, obviously not everyone's getting out, right?
yep.
Like, it's unfortunate. Like, yes, it was a prison break, but there's no way everyone's getting out. And then they even had the ships at the end, like doing kind of a search
Yeah.
on on the shoreline, so people are probably getting picked up
Picked
again.
up.
So it's and if you think about it, if Cassian and
Melshi.
Melshi were like kind of like the beginning middle, and those ships are already out there, they're already picking up most of those guys anyway.
I'm curious if we're
So
gonna see them get off of the planet or if we're just gonna like pick up with them off, somewhere else.
I think they'll just pick them. They'll be ready and established going back to like Ferrix or something
Yeah.
to
I'm
regroup.
excited though. Cassian got himself a friend.
Yeah,
you
he
know?
does. Yeah.
Hopefully, ride or die right there. We know that.
But
It'll be nice.
yeah, what do you think of the scene where they took over the command room before we move too far off?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I think Cassian's still doing what he does, shooting first, and then asking. I mean, he let him know. He gave him a choice, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he had to shoot one of them to off him. But I
I'm
thought,
glad
go
I'm
ahead.
glad they shot the right guy because they shot the guy in the middle, and
I
they're like he was the one
know.
to control the turbines.
That would have been really bad. Like, we don't know we didn't do that training. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, with that, I thought the scene was great. I thought it was great that it was him and Kino, and well,
Mhm.
I love that whole moment. He basically tells shut him off, and he just turns off basically a little bit of the power lights. He's like, no, shut it all off, and I love that. He's like, it's hydro. It'll take months to come back on. It's
We
like,
don't care.
care, we're not going back to work. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but great visuals too. The effects again, even just the scene where it's actually showing, the machinery part of it, where it's like shutting down the hydro stuff,
Oh,
looks
mhm.
amazing. It looks
That looked really
amazing.
cool, yeah.
Comparatively to everything else we've seen live action Star Wars TV,
Right.
I thought even stuff like that just kind of blows my mind. Um, because that's what I imagined it would always be, and it
Right,
wasn't.
right.
That was really nice. I thought the scene itself was great.
Yeah.
I love, again, we kind of alluded to it before, but when Cassian is, telling Kino it has to be you, it has to
Mhm.
be you're up, like, and he's like, is
Yeah.
that all you've got, and I love that. uh, it kind of sparks Kino into gear slowly. He starts very almost timid and afraid, and we
Sure.
see a side of him that we haven't really seen yet. Usually when he talks, it's commanding, it's loud,
Right, right.
it's you can tell he's a manager of
Yeah.
this area, and I'm curious if Kino has what his journey's been within this prison, if he was ever in other rooms and things like that. I don't know. Like,
I doubt it just because he didn't know that someone got transferred from one level to the other. They probably keep that pretty quiet, or it
that's
doesn't
true.
happen often enough. But I feel like he was been in that room for a minute and then took
Yeah,
over it somehow.
that's what I imagine. What if you got like a prison promotion? Like,
Yeah, I
hey,
mean,
table
yeah.
six, you're moving to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah,
I hope we get
probably.
something with Kino, but no, I was really into that scene. I thought the set design continues to be stellar. It's what we know. It's typical, but it still impressed me. It's still somewhere where I would love to take a picture inside of, like have it Galaxy's Edge or something.
Yeah. Dress
Here,
up like a inmate and
yeah,
build something and then get kicked out.
yeah.
That'd be funny. I also heard a tidbit that well, when they're talking on the microphone, it modulates the voice to sound like deeper.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's credited as voice of God, and then the other surviving guard was Apostle.
Oh
So I was like, oh, that's
wow,
interesting.
I didn't see that. Yeah,
So I was like,
because
that's kind of
I
cool.
did notice the voice modulation part, but I did not see that in the credits. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then well, even then when Andy Serkis gets on, he sounds more Snooky on the mic. It's like,
It's
oh
like
man, is this
that's
his
what
origin
they're
story?
that's what they're doing with him.
They're gonna
Yes.
deform him, and then he's gonna be bald and taller and have force powers.
Yeah,
Kino Loy.
Kino
Yeah.
Loy. He was
Uh,
the base for for Snoke.
um, what do you think about the scene with Mon Mothma? Very, very short, specific scene
Yeah.
that we get in outside of the prison break.
It was kind of, I didn't know what the favor was going to be, but I knew it had to be a favor that was going to be asked of her.
Yeah.
What a rough. I mean,
I was like, am I watching Thrones? What's going on here?
I just feel so bad for that lady all the time. Every episode, she'll have like one scene, and it just makes me like it puts a pit in my stomach. She's like,
Yeah.
um, I thought that one Genevieve O'Reilly, again, killer, killer,
Still
killer.
killing it.
She
Yeah.
she's so amazing, and I hope that this opens up lots of doors for her if she wants them to be opened. If
Hmm.
she wants to take other jobs, I hope that she gets lots of offers because she's doing fantastic.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about. I should have because her daughter's there in the show, and they're clearly focusing on her enough for a reason. And then to
Oh,
throw that
right.
punch in here to be like, yeah, well, I have a son. I'm like, and knowing that they dropped that tidbit of Chandrilan like marriage,
Potential marriage. Yeah.
yeah, and how he's arranged marriage at a young age. I was like, oh no, and
Yeah.
she was very stern. She's like, no, I'd rather pay. I'd rather not owe anybody any favors.
The
And
favors, right? Yeah.
uh,
I love that.
yeah, I love that too. And I think that she obviously loves her daughter, and she obviously abhors this man. And the idea of having her daughter wed to his son, I think is like something as a mother from her standpoint seems like nothing to if it topples the empire I'm still gonna say no,
Yeah.
which understandable. What a rough position to be put in.
Yeah.
Tay probably knew that was the
You
offer.
think he knew?
I think I don't know, maybe he didn't know explicitly, but I think he knew
Yeah.
whatever it was gonna be
It was gonna
was
be
not gonna,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
He did look a bit sur- I don't know if it was surprised or like because as soon as Tay mentioned that, they did focus on him looking at Mon like with like
Yeah.
worry,
Like
like
his eyes tripped over.
yeah, he was like and she's like it seemed like he was like, oh man,
Yeah.
my friendship
Awkward.
is toast. But
No, yeah,
yeah,
I really like the scene they set it up where he's like, "Oh, I might have been here before," and he's like, "But I didn't." He goes, "I thought I would be here more often," you know. And she's like, "The Senate doesn't let us decorate much," and I'm just like, "Wow, the Empire is just like repressing everybody," from
yeah,
any. Like, if you want to put up some red drapes and some Sith artifacts, maybe, but not your
yeah,
own
no.
personal taste. Nothing from Bed Bath Beyond, nothing from IKEA. We get to call the shots in this one. And yeah, the I love the back and forth because Davo is like, boundaries, we can embrace them, like
Yeah,
there's still room for, you know, uh for us to be us kind of thing. And he's like, even when it comes to the money thing, he said, they can look, but they're not going to find anything. It's the game that they want to play, and we'll play it.
yep,
So I thought that was cool. But when he's like, "Oh, so it's a charity?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, well then, no, no." She's like, "What's your fee?" He's like,
oh
"No fee." And I'm
yeah,
like, "Oh no, what is
yep.
he gonna ask?" And she's like, "Well, what do you want?" And he's like,
Oh,
"Well, just to come back again."
yeah, he's
And
like, I
I'm
want
like,
an invitation back. Like,
yeah, I was like, "Wait a minute, what are you talking about, man?" I thought it was gonna be like, I know it wouldn't be like courting her,
yeah.
like let me get a shot at you kind of thing. But when he
She
was like,
might be
"Oh,
better
money's
off.
just I have so much money, I don't even," and that's the scariest part, right?
That is
Because
scary.
you're like, what is it the person who has the most money want? And to buy in, and I was like, what? I guess to buy into the family, the Mon family, maybe.
Yeah, I think that it probably opened some doors for him as far as like
Yeah.
you know,
But her family's wealthy, so if she goes, that's another thing. If she dies, then the inheritance would
transfer.
probably go to the daughter, right?
Yeah, I
So
would assume so.
thus his son and him. So I guess he would get all the money that way.
Yeah, and then he can probably get away with more things if he's directly tied to Mon Mothma. I'm sure there's other benefits other than money,
Yeah.
for him. Also, to skip forward just a tiny bit, I loved at the end when he's like, "Well, basically, I hope you consider my offer," and she's like, "I will not. I'm not considering."
Yeah.
It's
He's a
like
thing
that's the
about it.
first time you've lied all day, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, what does that mean?" I hope because Mon Mothma was placed in this almost impossible situation to where
Right.
is your daughter going to be a sacrifice for the cause? I hope. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what's going to happen there. That's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I think that Mon Mothma will figure a way out, but um,
I mean, I could see it going where allows it to happen.
I could see it too, and dialogue wise, it feels like they've foreshadowed that that's at least they told us that she's thinking about it by her being told she's lying. um,
Yeah. Well, because
um,
he's like, I mean, you could take it in a few ways where she's like, he's all think about it, and she's like, I'm not gonna think about it. Like, no, I'm not thinking about it. And but you are. So it's like
yeah, yeah,
even if it's a no, you're still thinking about it. But it's interesting that he said that's the first untrue thing outside of like the charity thing and like a lot
yeah,
of the stuff they're doing behind the scenes. But I love how the scene is shot. I wish I remembered who the cinematographer was, but like her in the center and then Tay and Davo on two sides and kind of like this pull and the isolations thing and still her being by herself. It's just so great how they just make this show.
yeah, man. It's so I Mon is so isolated. She has even her one friend Tay that's come back. It's all business, and it's like it's still like none of these conversations they're having are good at all.
Right.
Um, she had Vel came back for a second. That wasn't very. Even though it was nice to see her, still wasn't like a really that nice of a moment. It's so tense. She's. I'm surprised
Yeah.
she's not full of gray. At this point. Uh,
Yeah.
I wonder if she's dying, dyeing her hair because I would be
Probably.
she's got that like presidential stress, where
Sure,
they
sure.
4 years you look like a different person.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's a good point. I know her hairstyle's gonna change, so
yeah, it's true.
eventually. Um, can we talk about the Imperial? Luthen gets he's like something at the fountain, the mark on the fountain, the rail's gone. He wants to
Yeah,
meet. It's been a year. She's like, "Do you think it's a trap?" Or she's like, "Sorry, it's what's her
it's a
name?
trap. Yeah,
Clea. Clea. She's like,
Clea.
"Let me go," and I'm like, "Clea, you're just gonna pull a blaster out and shoot somebody."
Oh my gosh! And I thought that was gonna happen regardless, but you're right. She was really just like, let me go. She's trying to take.
She's Yeah, she's trying to wrap up loose ends
Yeah,
already, but I like how she was like, "It's a trap," and he's like, "Well, if it is, we already lost," you know.
yeah,
So,
it's true.
but I didn't know who to expect to see, and then I thought initially, I thought Luthen was blackmailing him in some
Oh
way.
yeah.
So when he's traveling up the elevator, he's like, "Oh, your daughter is so beautiful," and all this stuff, and he, he's like, "You're watching me."
It does seem like he is kind of now, like to make sure that he
Sure,
stays in there. But yeah, I know that
sure.
was such a great scene.
But yeah, I mean, just the information we got. It's Lonnie. He's the one of the Imperial guys in up there in the ISB. But I
Yep.
loved how it wasn't we just blackmailed you and we have a stranglehold on you.
Yeah.
I love that they put him in there. They placed him in there to be a rebel spy in the ISB, worked up the ranks, and
Six
now is able to
years.
report back. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, that's a long time.
yeah.
That's a long time.
And I was gonna say I love how he's like, I want he goes, I given you he goes, Deidre Romero. She's looking for a guy named Access and a middleman and a thief. He's like, Krieger, I'll give you,
Yeah.
they're gonna spellhouse, they're gonna ambush, those rebels. And I love how Luthen's like, it's 50 guys. You're more
Yeah.
important than that. And I love like, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if he's playing him like to build him up. He's like called him a hero, said he was worth more, said he was valuable. I think about you. I've been thinking about you every day. I'm just like, wow, and he used the word grooming too. We've groomed you to
He did
be
use
in
I
this.
think he is playing him like a fiddle. Um
Yeah,
I think he's not lying that he's thought about him every day. I bet he does think about him. It's like, I hope that guy's, you better
hope he
not be.
doesn't give us up.
Yeah. I bet he is thinking about him every day, but I absolutely 100% think that you're right. They use the word grooming. We've groomed you for this long. You're too valuable. It feels like he's talking to him as an asset, not a person most of the
Right,
time.
right,
But as soon as the elevator doors open, I see suspended bridge. I think, oh, someone's dying. Anytime in Star Wars, anyone walks, I think his saving grace is he didn't step onto the bridge. If you don't step onto the
right.
bridge, you're not gonna die. But in Star Wars, oh my gosh.
But Luthen had full control of the elevator, so he probably could just drop it.
You're right. You're
300,
right.
300 stories or whatever that was.
This is like a Star Wars just a trope. It's like as
Oh,
soon you're
right.
going onto the bridge, something's
Yeah,
bad's gonna happen.
something bad. Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
but you're right. He could have just dropped that all the way to the ground. Oops.
Whoops. Yeah, and it was cool too because we're watching Lonnie go through to get to the elevator.
Yeah,
We actually see aliens because we haven't seen
I
aliens
know.
in Arcana 5 at all. So I'm like, oh, they exist
We're
in
back on
this
Coruscant.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but man, what a great like. Lonnie's like, I want to get out, and he's like, how are you gonna get out?
Yeah.
My health. He's
Yeah.
like,
I was like,
my health, and then I can work with my wife's family. And he's like, no, like that's not gonna fly, dude. This is what you signed up for. And they mention a vow, and I'm wondering if we'll ever hear the vow.
yeah.
But Vel's mentioned it, to Mon Mothma. So like, there's some kind of promise they made about the rebellion, to stick with it.
Yeah,
Um,
I do hope we're gonna see Cassian take the vow, but
oh yeah,
maybe I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, good.
But yeah, they keep mentioning it, so I'm sure it's gonna come up at some point. Um, with that though, I do love going back to the scene you were talking about before, where he's talking about everything he's giving him. He's like, "What bag of goodies is gonna get
Yeah,
you?"
well,
It's
yeah,
like my
give me a
farewell
bag of
gift.
goodies and you can just be on your way.
It's like that's not how it works, and I do wonder how many if he has some more people implanted in other places. We know that when Bell's mission on they had an inside
Aldani.
man on Aldani. I don't know,
Oh right,
like is that from Luthen's doing, or I know it wasn't that he placed him there necessarily. He was scorned
right.
and turned, but
No, they didn't know about Luthen. None of them did. Remember?
that is
Only Vel
true.
knew.
That is true. But maybe Vel through Luthen as a extension of Luthen. I don't know,
Sure,
but
sure. Oh yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean, like almost like it's not
Oh
him, but
yeah, I mean, I could see it going, hey, there's a lieutenant there, he got demoted,
yeah,
and there's talks of him having a relationship with someone Aldani. Maybe we'll reach out to see if he's,
extend
interested or
some
whatever.
limbs over there, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually would be a cool idea.
But we do get a spectacular, spectacular moment
Man,
to stamp this episode. I think just
I mean, if this is not a 10, if this monologue isn't a 10 on its own, man,
yeah, that
some
monologue alone. Give me an opening crawl with that.
yeah. I mean, even Lonnie is like, what have you sacrificed?
Uh
He's like, I got a kid in the dark. And I'm like, you're going to ask this guy what he
it's like
sacrificed?
flip the switch right there, man. He oh god, what a yeah, he and it felt very real, it didn't have that like I don't know, he wasn't using that same suave swagger. He used like when he talks to Saw, they're kind of having this almost like chirping back and forth. Like this felt like
Right.
he was just speaking out of one from the heart, but also uh it's a lot of pain there, he knows and
Yeah.
seems very, 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 very aware of
Yeah. The
what
self
this
awareness level is super high.
super high. And from Lonnie's perspective, I mean, that had to have been jarring, rattling. He thought he was calling Luthen out, and Luthen uh, just snapped back at him with full force.
Yeah. Yeah. I love my favorite part is like, what he goes, what did I sacrifice? Everything. Like, oh, like, man, give it
Yeah,
to him.
yeah. I
So
mean,
good.
I wish I would. I guess we have it right here.
Yeah. We pulled it up.
Let's
Um,
see. I love that. I've given up all chance of inner peace, and I'm. What was that other line that it really stuck out to me about being having to use my enemy's tools
oh,
against
yeah.
them, or
Yeah. It's in the third part. I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them.
yeah, yeah.
Man,
Ooh,
I really like the part of I made my mind into a sunless space.
yeah, dude, that
It's just
stuff is
like,
like, oh man,
and he goes, I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago, from which there is only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My
yeah.
anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, they set me on a path from which there is no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I looked down, there was no longer any ground beneath my feet.
And then I mean, yeah, it's the other line, that stuff is every single line in the speech is quote worthy and like, what's that? He says, and the oh my gosh, where is it? I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Like that, and it's such a
Yeah, he's not going to see the other side of where the rebellion takes the
and that
empire
just
down.
such mirrored from Rogue One,
Yeah,
same sort of thing, and seeing how that that message and that spirit still lives on through the rebellion, and with them stealing the Death Star plans eventually, knowing that at a point they're not making it out of here, but they still need to they need to lay their life down for them to have a chance.
yeah,
Ironically, looking out to this almost sunset sunrise, but it's the Death Star beam hitting the planet. I just as he gave that last line there, I just kept thinking of Rogue One. I'm like, oh man,
yeah. We're going to definitely see clips of this monologue on top of Rogue One,
yeah,
like the ending of it. I mean, in a lot of Star Wars, like across
for
most of
sure,
the movies.
which is gonna be
I mean,
awesome.
even the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. Just no one. It's a thankless job. He's like, Lonnie, we are doing this undercover. Like, yes, it's gonna suck, but you are a hero in this rebellion right now. Man,
Yeah, and like at this, oh man, yeah. Everybody, it's a thankless job. It's like nobody is in this for the, for the, for the praise, but we
no.
have to do it. It's like you run away, you just, it's selfish, at this point. It's what he's trying to. It's like you don't want to. You're a hero. Don't go running away
Well,
for
it's
that.
selfless. Well, you're
If you
being
run away,
selfish, but
yeah,
it's selfless,
it
you
is.
know.
It is.
Um,
Um,
and uh, what was I gonna say? Um, but yeah, he's like, we just need you there, man. Just stay there. We need you there. And
yep.
it's like, the part about letting those 50 guys die. It's like, yeah, it's more important to
Oh
keep you there.
yeah.
Your intel is way more important than letting 50 people die, which is the
Yeah.
same number of people in a room in Narkina 5.
Yeah, and I mean, he's telling me, their sacrifice is allowing you to be a father. I'm like, oh man, and it
Yeah,
also does feel half blackmailing too, though. Just like
sure.
he has that card up his sleeve, letting him
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
just in case he
just in
wavers.
case we know where your daughter is,
Yeah,
and I'm like, like that's enough to I think keep him being a hero, if you will.
that's what I was gonna say. He goes, the heist in Aldani, and he's like, oh yeah. He goes, were you involved? And he's like, oh no, it was luck. They successfully did it without luck, and we declined or whatever. He said they asked us, we declined, and it was based on luck, and we don't deal in luck. And I was like, man, I love how they keep everyone in the dark so that it can never lead back to them.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Axis, oh yeah, she's wasting her time.
Yeah,
I
I
love
love
that.
that too. Yeah, that's
So
such a great
dismissive of it.
line. He basically tells like, I'm glad they're looking in because they're wasting their
Yeah,
time, wasting their resources.
looking
Um,
looking for me, and I'm right here, right
yep.
under their nose, kind of thing.
Uh,
Well, now with that information, do you think? So I don't think Diedrich could get a drop on Luthen then, right? Since he knows who
not.
she is now.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a big card that Luthen has
Hmm.
at his disposal. He knows her. He knows she's looking for him. He knows this and that. Obviously, I'm sure he knows people looking for him, but
Right.
not so specific as a name and things like that. I feel like as much as she isn't underestimating anyone anymore, really though. She's been
That's
the one.
true.
So I think that there may be a way that she, overachieves yet again and
Yeah,
finds some way to get a drop on him at some point. But I don't think it'll be that simple. I think she also may have her. I don't know if her eyes seem pretty open, but I mean, I think she may be surprised when she figures out what eventually, you know, Luthen's been under her nose the whole time. Whenever I think she will find that out at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this season, but I think
I have a feeling it'll be next. I think
yeah,
Luthen still
same,
sticks around in season 2.
same here. But whenever she does realize, oh man, I'm curious how that reaction's going to be. Finding out he's right here in your backyard, and he always has
Yeah,
been.
Do you
And
feel Lonnie's safe in the ISB, or do you think that thread is gonna be
I
revealed
don't
to?
think he's safe, just because if he's already cracking, I think that something may happen where he does crack. Even if he
Mm,
doesn't want to, who knows what it could be. But as this goes on with the rebellion and ISB trying to track them down, I think um, more bad than good is going to happen. I think
yeah,
on both sides, and I think it's definitely getting to him. And he seems like, I don't know if I'd say a weak link, but 6 years is a long time to be undercover. And I think that where there's cracks, there's just it's gonna get worse. I don't think
yeah,
that speech that Luthen gave him is less necessarily gonna help his mental health here. I think it's just gonna make it worse, and so I
yeah.
do think that I don't think he's safe. No.
I think I think that I think to me it serves more of the audience knowing that Luthen is playing this game where he is, playing a couple turns ahead.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know if we'll go back to Lonnie and seeing him crack in anyway because I don't imagine it to. I
Well,
don't.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. I think that if we do focus on him more, I think that there will be a point where he is either outed or something, or maybe he takes a risk that he shouldn't, and
Mhm.
he's caught. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna play out, which is exciting, which is
Yeah.
always exciting.
Before I forget, there was a small scene where we're back on Ferrex. We see a
Oh
doctor come up
yeah.
and they show a Sintra still watching the house, and then there's an ISB guy watching the house too. And then the conversation was Marva's not taking her medicine; she's just hiding it. Um, we're gonna have to see Marva and Cassian reunite, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I would think so. Probably as
Yeah.
she, goes.
So something's gonna go down on Ferrex, and then maybe they're gonna let Cassian know that Bix is held up in the hotel, and we're gonna get a rescue.
Mm. Oh, yeah, and I mean we have to have a big climax, even if Luthen and Daedra aren't gonna be, crossing paths probably. I mean Cassian and Daedra, I could see having some sort of exchange, even if it's not like Cassian's. I don't think Cassian's getting captured again, in
No.
this season, but I think that there could be some sort of face to face between them. Um, I think that you have to cross some sort of big paths here. Um, Daedra's been pushing for Cassian. That's what she's been you know, working towards. She's on Ferrex looking for him. They're waiting for him. Um, if he's gonna see Marva again, I think that's what I would guess would be the big climaxes between him and Daedra, for at least for Cassian and her. I think they'll cross paths.
Do you think we'll see Didra on Narkina 5 investigating
Hmm.
that, or do you think it'll just go straight to ISB and then they're gonna pick up a report of that?
I've if I had to guess, I have. I don't think she'll be there. I think if anything, it'll be similar to you, where she sends her doctor, her evil scientist doctor, over there to do questioning, and then we're back at the ISB with
Okay.
what they found.
Yeah.
Even if they don't show it, oh, I'll be so sad if they're like Kino Loy. Yeah, like, I'm like
Kino Loy
no.
gave us some pretty good intel. Dr. Gerst makes sure of it and all this stuff. We're like, oh no.
Turns out he can't swim. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no.
That just boggles my mind. That, I know there's people who can't swim, but wouldn't you give it a shot anyway?
I look, see, I understand that. I understand it because we didn't talk about this scene yet. Oh my
Uh,
god, I loved it. I loved it just
oh, right,
because
right, right. We
they're
didn't talk about
they're
this
running there, and
scene.
like I love that where Cassian's like, "What?" He's like,
What did he
"Can't
say?
swim," and then Cassian's like, bumped,
Gets
and he
knocked.
just like falls
This guy,
back.
it's funny watching this guy just grabs both of him and Melchi and just like takes him down.
That's what I'm saying. He's just like, "Huh?" And they're just like falling, and it's like a happy moment, but it's like bittersweet.
It's
And
basically because I
thing
can't
is,
swim.
I know like plenty of people who can't swim, and there's like things that I think you could probably walk through sometimes that they're like, no, I'm not, I can't. So I think, oh, one, the drop, but two, the
Yeah,
drop to water. Oh, it probably just froze him. It's like
yeah,
he's
yeah.
probably terrified,
Terrified.
and like having such a big, because I know when he was giving that speech, his heart was pumping. And then you're really riled up. You have all this spirit. Everybody's going together. One way out. One way out. One way out. And cut. You're like, oh no! Like I imagined, just. Uh, and who knows? Maybe he got bumped out too. But dang, like I wouldn't
He
be
didn't get
on.
bumped out, man. He's still up in there. He's in there still, unfortunately.
Oh, what a line though. All of his last lines in the episodes, last episode he had a big last line of, 8 guys, never more than 12, and it's a big
Yeah.
deal. And now just can't swim. I'm like,
And,
oh
and dude, how much more painful is that line than watching him get shot with a blaster? Remember, we were like,
yep.
the transport ship, he's gonna
Oh
get on
yeah.
it. Someone,
Yeah, I
or
know.
any other way, watching him die on screen. This felt like pretty painful. Just be like, can't swim.
Like
swim.
that's it. Just yeah. And it almost seemed like it just like almost disbelief. Just
Yeah, I
swim.
felt like though too the reason why Cassian got hit. I feel like Cassian be like, "I
Yeah,
got you,"
same.
and would have pulled them and drug his watery
Yep.
corpse over to
I
the
felt
beach.
yeah,
But
same. It'd have been like I thought that's he's like, no, no, just come on. I just like
yeah,
grabbed his arm and yanked him out
yeah,
there,
come on, Kino, come on.
I didn't give him the chance, so and then him
No,
him and
no,
Melshi were footing it out of
yeah, they
there.
had to.
But yeah, that scene that's a scene that I'll never forget. It's forever gonna be ingrained in my
Yeah.
mind. Kino, I got attached as so many people did. Uh Kino is I almost want to hold a memorial for the man, even though I don't know definitively that he's dead.
The
Like
Loy, you're gonna go knock on the Loy family's door
yeah, I'm gonna
with a with a folded up rebel.
I'm gonna start. We're gonna make merch. It's gonna be Kino Loy in memory of shirts. It's just like him. It's gonna be Nemec. By the end of this show, we're gonna have just in memoriam shirts,
No,
and
here's the first. Here's the shirt. Here's the shirt. The Narkina 5 swim team.
that's oh, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Put it on Shirt Punch. Call me Shirt Punch. We can make one.
Narkina 5 swim team. That is so good. That
Yeah,
is so
yeah.
good. I want to make that shirt.
Maybe I'll have to make those. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll have to
well,
make them.
I'm so down. But I am so down. That's awesome. Next celebration I go to, definitely need that shirt.
Yeah,
I was
we'll
thinking,
figure it
I
out.
was already thinking, like, man, if I ever get to meet Andy Serkis, like at a celebration, I want to bring some floaties or something for the guy.
A life jacket.
um, but
Uh,
what a guy.
I know. Well, this character is definitely gonna solidify Andy Serkis as one of his better characters, more memorable characters for me.
Yeah,
Even more so than Snoke. I mean, very faceless
yeah,
because it's a CG character, but um, really great performance and just heartbreaking as hell. Just him not escaping. We knew it was gonna happen.
yeah.
We
We
said
knew he
like he's
wasn't
not
making
getting out.
it.
We knew he's not gonna
That's
make
not
it.
how I thought it was gonna happen.
But not like this. Not like this.
Honestly, I didn't even think that when when we were talking about it before, I didn't even think that it was realistic to jump. I thought it was higher up. I know it's still a big
Right.
fall, but like when I was thinking about how it was gonna play out, we were talking about like, oh, maybe they'll jump the transport or things like that.
Right.
But I
Right.
didn't even consider that they could jump into the water.
Yeah, or even jump and then swim because I mean
Yeah,
it seemed really far from shore, right?
yeah.
So I was like, what is the distance? Like I thought it was like Camino, like there's no land.
Just all
It's like just
water.
all water. But like they showed, they're like, oh, it's just right there. It
It's
looks like
just
maybe a mile or two, right? Or a
yeah,
few miles.
doable.
Well, actually, no, probably a mile maybe because their bodies in the
Yeah.
ocean and you can see the shore ahead. So
Also, I guess a benefit of them, well fed, they're well energized. They want them to keep
sure.
their energy and all, but
Yeah, they started the shift. It wasn't like they
yep.
were in the end of it or the
And they had
bottom of it.
adrenaline pumping. That can take you a
Mhm.
long way.
Yeah.
But
And it
now,
seemed like a tropical. It wasn't like a
yeah, like a
very frozen.
harsh, yeah, like wintertime. It's a frozen lake. I guess it
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
be
yeah.
if it's all hydropowered, but
Mhm.
Narkina 5. Who wants to? Yeah, who wants to go to the Narkina 5 resort? They're gonna change it now. Once the prisons are done, they're gonna change it to a resort and casino. It's just
Like a Canto bite, like
yeah,
getaway kind of thing. That'd be
yep.
awful.
That would be terrible. One way in, one way out. You got transport in. If you can't wait for the transport out, you can take a leap. Um,
But yeah, great episode. we got 2 more,
Yeah.
and, I don't know what to expect. I know for a fact we're going back to Ferrex. I think there has to be something. Cassian sees Marva. Cassian has to get rescue Bix. Man, does Bix make it out alive at the end of the season?
See, I think Vix dies. I don't know if it's at the end of the
Mm,
season. I think that
mm,
if there's a character, oh man, because if Cassian goes back, Marva's definitely dying.
yeah, Marva's dead.
Marva's dead.
Marva's
You know, let's consider let's assume she's
she
already
can't
dead.
swim.
Yeah, she
She
can't
can't
swim.
swim.
Um, so if she's dead, it'll be a lot if Bix dies too. But I think that I think it's going to be a big thing for Cassian. Whatever Marva tells him on her deathbed, essentially, is what I think. You know, may push him in a direction. You know, she's a rebel. They said it.
Yeah,
She rebels. Bix is a rebel. I think even if she's not, I think she's a rebel at heart. You know what I mean? I don't think
yeah.
she's
Honorary rebel.
yeah, she's an honorary rebel if nothing
My
else.
question to you is, does B2 emo survive this season? Cassian.
It depends.
Cassian, you're
Like we need,
back.
like we need to sell some sort of merch, right? Just the hottest winter toy this season. Cassian, I love you. Like you want you're gonna.
I I have this weird suspicious feeling that B2 Mo's gonna blow up and kill somebody in a
Oh, that'd be awesome. Sorry,
like
B2, but
I'm pretty sure he's gonna sacrifice himself
oh
and kill a couple
man,
Imperials.
that'd be nice. I'm down for that. Uh,
They did set up that one Imperial guy who wanted to be the prefect of the
yeah,
hotel. I'm wondering if he'll be like the main boss bad guy there. Because he had the scene with Blevins and then the scene with Dedra, so
yeah.
I'm wondering if him
I'm
or if
also
he'll be there.
I'm still curious if she's got something up her sleeve. Is that
Ika
just
or
going
Marva.
Marva under the hotel? Is that just the way in to save Bix? Is that gonna be? Is there gonna be more to
I think
that?
so.
You
I
know?
think that might be part of it.
Yeah. She has something. She has something up her sleeve. Whether she's gonna do it herself or pass that duty on to Cassian.
There's gonna
Um,
be like thermal detonators like all aligned
I wouldn't even be
underneath.
surprised. It'd be a big like, even if it's in the finale, like that'd be a big like, you know, nice big set piece, big boom.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We got 2 episodes,
I
and
know.
oh,
I don't want it to end though. That's the other thing.
I know,
It's
me
so
either.
good. I don't want it to end.
It's yeah, I love this show. It feels like I haven't felt I guess I haven't felt this into a show, and well, that's not true. As it came out, I've watched some shows recently that were older, and I was like, wow, this is a great show, and I've been through it. But like as it came out, this reminds me of like I don't know if you ever watched the Watchmen series on HBO, but
Oh, I caught it late though.
yeah, so I was watching it you know, weekly, and just oh my god, every single week I was just left like, oh my lord, I need to just fast forward through this week to Sunday.
Yeah, yeah,
And with Andor, I'm just it's Star Wars is obviously we're fans, you know.
yeah.
But like to have a show like this that's just a great show. That's just no, regardless, you could slap the Star Wars off of that and just throw it in another world. It's still a great show. And I would still love the show if it had no relation to Star Wars.
Yes, agreed.
And I don't know if that's necessarily the case with the other ones to a degree for me.
I think real quick just to butt in, I think it makes it a better show because it's Star Wars because we know what we get usually from Star Wars
Yeah,
and the caliber of this is so high, which it makes it even just that much more better.
it does. It does. But I think that even if this wasn't, I would still love it. Like, you know, Zack Snyder's making a movie that he originally wrote to be a Star Wars movie.
Right,
And
right.
it's being, what's it called? Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon, yeah.
And like, they're like, no, it's not Star Wars anymore. He's like, well, I'm still making it. I think if
Yeah,
that's what happened with Andor and they're like, no, we're not making that. And like, for whatever reason, you know, like, no, we're still making the show.
right,
I
right.
feel like I'd still love it.
Yeah.
But you're right. I do think that being Star Wars, you know, it just highlights it even more. Unfortunately,
Mm,
still seems like it's not in the mainstream. I did get a friend to
yeah,
start watching it recently who's like a casual fan, you know.
sure.
Watch The Mandalorian,
Mhm,
watches this stuff but isn't always like jumping to it. And even
mhm.
he, you know, he was telling me that, like that he's so surprised. He watched 3 episodes now and he's like this feels like man, this feels really, really different, and I'm really digging it. He's not
Yeah.
like a big Star Wars fan or anything. He'll watch it.
Right.
But this show is, he's like just messaging me. He's like, I'm so surprised by it. Um,
Yeah. I
and we have,
recommended it to a
yeah,
non-Star Wars fan, like someone who does really no interest in Star
Star
Wars, and
Wars.
I was like,
Yeah,
"It's a good show, and it just happens to be in the Star
yeah,
Wars universe." I said, "But you don't have to know anything about it."
yeah,
So I'll be curious if he checks it out. I said, "At least get to episode 4 because I told
yeah.
him I didn't like the first 3 as much." But, yeah, so I'm curious. I'm curious
um,
who can it grab, and I think it being on Disney Plus, I think we'll see people watching it and binging it and be like, "This show is great. I can't believe I didn't watch it week to week."
yeah. I'm just trying to wonder, like, I'm trying to think if who would be that character you think that, not that they have to, but who would be someone that would fit that they can throw in a thumbnail on the front page of Disney Plus and people would be like, "Oh, oh wow, I need to watch this show." You know what I mean? Like I don't think Saw Gerrera is necessarily like, of course some people are like, "Oh, that's Forrest Whitaker." I'll
Andy
give it a
Serkis.
shot. Yeah. Andy
Andy
Serkis,
Serkis.
that's fair. Yeah, I think
Andy
that's
Serkis.
with Andy Serkis. So I feel like he's in the bubble of, I think that a lot of people like within the space of like being big like movie fans and things are like, oh, it's Andy Serkis. Like if I told my mom, she wouldn't know
Like,
who it is. I feel like she'd be like,
yeah, I mean,
uh,
they don't have any, like, A-list
uh.
actors, in my opinion.
I
Like,
think they have A-list talent for sure.
they do have
Uh,
A-list talent for
but
sure.
yeah, you're right. No, like,
There's no Chris Evans,
yeah,
there's no,
yeah,
Hemsworth, and any of the Marvel, it's
Marvel,
not that.
yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to think of a character though. Like who would a character be that people would be like, oh wow, we're not gonna do it. I'm
Oh,
just like if there's a character that we could throw in like a thumbnail because they're in an episode and people would really like, I don't know.
Leia, Carrie Fisher.
Oh yeah. Oh damn. Yeah. Yeah. That could probably
Maybe,
do
like,
it.
that might be oh, I was gonna say Han Solo, but he's
I
Harrison Ford's,
mean,
like, super old. I mean, if you get, like, a
well, they just bring you. They probably get Alden to do like a.
yeah, he doesn't really fit in
No,
this
he
whole
doesn't.
thing. I
Although, if Tony Gilroy did Solo, I bet we would get something.
we would get, something really cool
Something
out of
great.
it. I could see them putting Amelia Clark on
Yeah.
the thumbnail and be like, "Oh, snap, Amelia Clark's in this," and not
Yeah.
knowing she was in Solo. You
That's
know what I'm saying? Like,
actually
people
really
leave it,
true. They're like,
right?
whoa, Daenerys is in Star
Daenerys
Wars?
is in Star Wars? That's crazy. We gotta watch this Andor show.
Yeah, they're gonna say that Kira went blonde too. They're gonna make her blonde, and they're gonna no.
Oh, I
Um.
mean, depending on the time, I don't think the timeline fits because at this point we're
Oh.
because I was gonna say
Uh,
Woody Harrelson's character,
I was
but
gonna say Lando. Like if Lando
oh,
should, dude, that would be, not that I don't think that would happen, but like if you saw Donald Glover there, I think that brings a lot of people in.
that would
Um.
bring a lot of different people in, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Uh.
Um,
But yeah, I
yeah,
think yeah. Because we
I
can't,
think
we're
that
not
would
going to
take a
go into
while.
Obi-Wan or anything like that. We don't, let's not do that. I'm here to talk about the Rebel Initiative. Brr, 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 brr. It's Mace Windu.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Oh, Mace Windu would be actually pretty cool, but
it
I
would be
mean, that's who I was expecting to see in oh, this
Kenobi.
super side note. When Obi-Wan came out, we watched it as a group during Celebration,
Yeah.
and uh, it starts with Mace Windu's voice when they do
Oh
like
yeah.
the flashback to everything that led up to Obi-Wan. And it starts with Mace Windu's voice, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is we get Mace Windu back in Star Wars in this show? And then they pull a freaking red herring when Ewan McGregor comes back to his cave, and there's like this cloaked figure,
Yep.
and he reveals himself, and it's Jimmy Schmidt's Bail Organa. I'm like, oh man,
Dude,
it's Mace, it's Mace, and I'm like, oh
that
no, it's not
recap
Mace.
they did was such a,
Dude, wasn't that like the best
it was
prequel anything? Like
it was
flashback to the
great, but it was
prequel?
also so misleading. They showed Mace, they showed Duchess Satine, they showed all this stuff. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna touch on
The
all this.
music, like the
And
music's really
yeah,
good, and
and then like the show, I'm like, we got none of this.
they're gonna clip it all together, and there'll be another cool flashback. If last time on Star Wars, like those are
Yeah.
gonna be like the best versions we'll ever
Oh
get.
my god, yeah, that intro was awesome, and I'm like, oh
Yeah, it was so
wow,
good. It
we
was really
we
good.
need, like they're telling us we need to know all this. Like this is gonna come into play.
Watching it, I was like, that's not how it went down in the movies. Like, did you guys even watch the
Yeah,
prequels? It was very highly edited,
it was.
that little section. It was great, but it was just like
I'm so
those
glad you
two
brought that up.
feelings that I'm feeling watching this last time on Star Wars is definitely not how that trilogy went.
No. Oh,
But
that stuff is so good.
back on track. Andor, episode 10 and 11. We got 2 more. Very excited. I know one of these 2 episodes are definitely going to be, has to be a 10, right? Has to be. I can't see it being any less. Just the trajectory of the show, the way it's moving. I don't think it can't get any worse. I have total faith in this show
Yeah.
and what Tony Gilroy's been building with his crew here. And I hope we see some awards coming at the end of this year, right? Like
Ooh.
some nods.
So big,
Nods,
big,
whatever.
big news for that. House of the Dragon nominated Patty. I forget his last name. Who played King Viserys?
Patty Chadwick, something like that.
If it's that, yes, as lead actor. So we have room for supporting. We have room for supporting because I think he's winning that. I think that's I would almost say it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So we have room for supporting for a win. So do we? I think you can absolutely nominate Stellan. You can make a case for lead, but I think Genevieve for the female category 100%. I think you can throw Andy Serkis as a supporting probably. I think you could probably fit that in there somehow, at least for a nomination. Sure. At least promote it and put that forth and submit. There you go. At least submit it.
Yeah. I think Stellan is definitely high on that list for supporting of what I've. Well, I mean, I'm not into the world of the Emmys, but
yeah, I mean, the Emmys is. Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes, there's
a lot of TV, so it's
there's a lot of TV.
I mean, I can even see Matt Smith being up there for best supporting.
Of course, yeah, and they did. I think they did submit him for supporting. They submitted a bunch of people.
He's solid, man. He doesn't even say anything.
I'm not. Yeah, I'll tell you, I was not a Matt Smith fan at all.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a huge sample size, but I've seen plenty of stuff with him. Sure. I just didn't really care for him as an actor. I didn't really. I don't know. But this show, I'm on board. He got me. So
yeah, I'm with his performance on House of the Dragon. I was like, oh, I would kind of want to see him as young Palpatine because they were throwing that around.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a big thing. Like Matt Smith's in the movie, and I'm like, I don't know, is he like? And then the theories went crazy, of course.
Right.
But I would be down for that. We learn more about the Acolyte, what's going on there. Which I bet we'll talk about at some point.
Yeah, we gotta talk. Yeah.
That's a whole nother can of worms. We're at like an hour 7 right now.
Okay, we gotta call
so we'll cut it here before we go on another hour tangent. But what a show! I love it. Where can we find you, Parade? Other than the Shirt Punch website.
Yeah, you can find me buying shirts on Shirt Punch. You can find me on Instagram at ParadeReigner, ParadeReigner, and you can find my YouTube channel. Again, it's funny every week. It's like something's coming. I am working on videos that we've done. It's just I want to make sure I'm a perfectionist. So I want to make sure it looks good.
Hell yeah!
And the content will flow from there. So keep an eye on that. But definitely on the socials because I'll be posting those videos are up. So yeah. Definitely check them out and message me.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I'll be back on social media today. So whenever this video comes out, I'll be there. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start posting stuff. I'm ready to get back on it. Also, something that just came to mind right now. Every December on my stream, I like to do a game giveaway.
Oh, nice.
Which that's one thing. If you want to try and win a game, check out my stream in the month of December. We're giving away a full price game, your choice. Nice. But I want to do a Shirt Punch giveaway. We should both decide on a shirt, and I will get a shirt, and then we'll do a giveaway on here.
I have a shirt, but it's a larger size, and we could use that as a giveaway.
Oh, so maybe
we'll do a Shirt Punch shirt.
Maybe we'll do two. I'm still willing to throw another one in there. So I think that's something we're gonna do. I'll figure out the parameters of it. I'll post it everywhere. But stay on the lookout for that. I do want to do some sort of giveaway in December. So you guys can obviously follow me on Fan Awakens. Hit me up at Uncle Sheev on Instagram, Twitch. And I got some more videos coming out. Me and Parade got some more stuff coming out. We got Andor coming to a close. I'm getting too excited, but I thank you guys all. I thank you guys all for watching. It all helps. You know, if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with a
Yep.
friend.
Yep.
All that stuff means the world. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, have a wonderful day. And what do we got? How we getting out of here?
One way out. One
One
way
way out. One
one
way
way
out.
out.
All right, y'all. Peace.